Is it working? I've only got a stupid system installed. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. It's working.
Guys, we are finally live. Apologies for the delay that we've been experiencing. For some reason, we had the live stream up while we were doing our tests. As soon as we went and pushed the play button, unfortunately, we lost it all. So we are currently running 40 minutes late. So to the Bravo guys, I humbly apologize. Not sure why we had these problems. We had finalized the qualifying for the Bravo tier. The game then decided to glitch itself out. So unfortunately, we've had to restart all the way from the beginning, and I did say that, guys, that for the Bravo team we would not have started as late as we have. I do apologize. I'm sorry. I'm very, very, very sorry. But we are now here. We have 11 drivers currently in the lobby. With me in the virtual commentary box we have Savvy. Savvy, how are you doing?
Hey Dylan, great to be back with you this week. Yep, we've had some challenges, but they seem to be sorted out now. So let's have a look and see what's happening this evening. Very excited about this evening's racing.
And on the positive side, Savvy, we did get our sound sorted. So you're here. I'm hearing you clearly. I'm sure everybody out there in the YouTube world can hear us clearly. So if you can, please give us a thumbs up. Give us a comment. How is the sound compared to last week? We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, the guys have been waiting. Dane, he's popped on. He's saying, how's it? Stephen, he is there. Ross is there. How's it, guys? So Stephen and Dane, Dane is actually racing in this race with us. Ross, he unfortunately has missed out the season, but we will see Stephen Smith in action a little bit later. And yeah, really excited for this race. Round number 2. So my full introduction that I had planned has unfortunately not come to fruition because I'd done it earlier on. But we are here, ready, qualifying race number 2. And happy that everything is up. And I apologize to the guys once again that are in the Bravo tier. I do apologize about the timing, and we will just make sure that we get better and better. As mentioned, the guys are doing their qualifying once again, and we haven't got anybody who's done a time yet, so we had to reset that 10 minutes. And Savvy, hope you've had a good week.
Yeah, I've had a good week, Dylan. I tell you what, been a little bit busy this week. Obviously, Auto Mechanica is on, which is at NASRAC. So I believe they're having a public day on Saturday. So yeah, it's arts and all sorts of things because that's the industry I'm in. But great to be available for this evening. I think it's going to be a good one. I think we've got lots of contenders available. I see Turbo Charles is back this week, Dylan.
Yeah, thanks for that, Savvy. I was just checking the volumes. and I was getting a little bit of feedback, so the guys that are there, just let me know that you can't hear that anymore.
Yeah, hopefully the feedback's out of the way. We're on board with Bruno this evening, right now, and obviously no time's up officially at the moment. 6 minutes left, 6 minutes plus in this session, and I'm sure it's going to be all down and ready to roll this evening.
Yeah, we actually didn't have Shoal with us last week. He unfortunately did have working commitments, but he is back, and we're really looking forward to him getting up in the front there between himself, Bruno, and Jakes, as well as Chris. I'm sure there's going to be a four-way battle, which is going to be pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people looking forward to this evening's racing. They've been quite patient with us this evening, Dylan, after we've had some technical problems with YouTube. I don't know what the issue was, but now it's all working, and I'm glad to see that from that perspective.
Yeah, most definitely. What I'd like to do is just bring up the current standings. So we have in shot is currently Bruno, and Bruno is actually lying second on the standings. He had a little bit of a contact with Chris in the first race, and that was just about halfway through. It is actually Jakes who leads this championship currently on 60 points, ahead of Bruno on 50, and Chris, the newcomer to the series, he's currently in third with 42. And then we have Gerard V. Dubber. He's currently in fourth place in the qualifying time, and he's in fourth place on the championship. And that's actually so interesting is that the next person is Mal. That is actually a Malmur or Mal TTR Jacques. He's currently lying a fifth overall in the championship, and I see he's currently now fifth in the qualifying time. So I wonder if it's got anything to do with the outcome of this race.
Yeah, I think interesting facts all around this evening, and we'll be interested to see where Andrew's going to be popping up. Quicksilver's there as well. He's in 8th position at the moment. We have MGC. Not too sure who that is, but
That's
I'm
Dane.
sure.
That's Dane.
There we go. There we go. Thanks, Dylan, for that. And then obviously RVR. I know who that is. And
That
then
is
Vin.
Ronaldo.
And then, is that Jake's right down the bottom?
That is Jakes. It doesn't look like he's actually put on a lap time yet, but I'm sure that he will get himself out onto the track and put in a lap time.
I'm sure he's going to be addressing that in the near future.
So I'm just seeing a message here from Marius, and Marius unfortunately not joining us in the series. He's saying that the audio is very delayed. So Marius, if you can hear us, please just confirm that once again, because from our side it is looking like everything is the way it should be. Interesting, Ross put up a comment now. He's saying that his money is on Jakes this week once again.
Yeah, hopefully we've sorted out the sound quality, man. I mean, that was a big thing last week, and we were obviously debating it while we were at Motor World and looking at the rigs they had got out from the FIA group. And obviously we tried to make sure that the sound quality would be improved for this week. So hopefully that's all been addressed.
Yeah, it seems like well, now I'm getting, it looks like they're saying that the video is delayed, and the Ghost Squad Purple Demon, he's come up and said, yeah, that it looks like it is. So I'm not sure how we rectify that. So 2 minutes left of the qualifying, and Shoal, he's currently on the pole position. That is nearly a 1:37. That is extremely quick. Bruno, he in second place with the Christopher. He's in third with Jakes down in fourth. Then Dupi, he's up into 5th place with VW in 6th, Jacques in 7th, 8th is Andrew, then we have Durkee in 9th, Dane in 10th, Ronaldo 11th, and Vince all the way down in 12th place. He really seems to be battling with this car.
Yeah, I think the times there aren't too bad, Dylan. I mean, if I look there, top, obviously Turbo Charles 138 097, and let me tell you, that's faster than it was in the previous session, because he had done a 138 204, if I'm not mistaken. So he's obviously gone quicker this session. I think it's worked out for him to get up there and have a second go at this. So that's obviously done something there. Bruno at 138.807, so 700ths of a second slower. So that's going to be some exciting driving in my point of view.
Most definitely, and just between 2nd place and 4th place, you can see that is 0.2 of a second. So that fighting there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is going to be extremely close. Really, really looking forward to that battle.
Let's just go on with VW. VW obviously looking quite fancy-dancy in that blue car. Like the colors there.
Yeah,
car number 55.
Of all the years I've been racing with Gerard, he definitely has preferred the blue colors. And it is such an interesting thing is that as we drive with the drivers through the different seasons, is that they definitely start picking a very specific color. There's Gerard just going straight on and putting himself into the barrier just before he goes into the pits. So that means that there will be a few guys that are still on a flying lap. So that Charles, he will keep himself on top. That is unless Bruno or Chris are able to find those split seconds to get themselves up ahead of Charles and get them into that first corner. The first corner here at Oschersleben A is extremely tight, and I know that the guys are going to be cautious. I know they're going to just leave that space, but anything can happen. A little nudge from behind and that can really ruin somebody's race.
And he's already gained 300ths of a second on Turbo Charles. So as you mentioned, I think the most critical point, and they're going to have to just watch themselves going into that little first S-bend, because it's all about what happens there, I think.
So that will leave the current standings as Charles. He will take pole position. Bruno will start off in 2nd place with Chris in 3rd. Jakes is in 4th with Dupi 5th. VW in 6th place with Jacques in 7th. Andrew, he's in 8th place with Durkee 9th. Dane, he's in 10th place, and if we can just scroll down just a little bit, we'll then have Ronaldo in 11th and Vince down into 12th place. Let's just give this a go. We have pushed X, so now the guys are in the 2-minute holding lobby. So now all they're going to be doing is getting their setups ready. And once all the setups are ready and they have readied up, we'll see the syncing icon will come up, and then we know we're good to go. Stephen's just come with a comment there to say, I think Chris is going to take the night. He's been fast all week. And Stephen, we can only hope that he's going to be doing that. So guys, please just go give us that comment just to make sure that how bad is that audio delay? Is it a couple of seconds? Is it really, really unmanageable? Please let us know. And that was the syncing that we were waiting for. There is the countdown. That will be a green light, and we are racing here at Oschersleben. It looks like we are going to be 2 wide going into turn number 1. That's 4 wide. I hope the guys are going to take it easy coming here into turn number 1. So far so good. Well, that was a little jump on the inside curb there. Charles, he leads with Jakes. He's moved himself up into second place with Chris in third. Bruno, he's in fourth. V-Dubber, he's moved himself up into 5th place. Andrew starting 8th on the grid. He's up to 6th. Or just dropped down there with Durkee going on the inside. So Andrew now back down to 7th place. Dupi, he's in 8th with Jacques in 9th. Ronaldo 10th. Vince, he's also made a place. And Dane in 12th place. So really, really good opening corners there. Nobody got themselves into too much trouble, which is exactly what we needed, because that's going to allow the racing to continue. So Jakes is right on the heels of the leader, and Bruno, he unfortunately dropped down. He was second on the grid. He's dropped down to 3rd. Jake's really pushing hard, not letting Shoal get away from him. We must just be remembered. We must be reminded that the track limits on this course are extremely sticky, and that race director, he will definitely be penalizing some of the guys here. And Chris, he's now dropped down into 5th place, so he's falling down the order here. Well, great shot there with Chris going by, and that was Durkee right behind him. A little contact there on the back. Oh my goodness, that looked like Chris onto Durkee. Not too sure. Oh, I don't think those guys are looking at each other. So they seem to have settled now, with VW being followed by Christopher. This is back in 4th, 5th. There's a 6th and 7th place. Coming through the triple. Now this very long right-hander. Then this is definitely my favorite part of the track. This little chicane. It is very quick. Then those curbs can catch you and they will spit you out into that wall without any worries. The other very interesting thing here is the lines here, Savvy, are so precise that it is extremely difficult to actually overtake. So we're going to be seeing very interesting driving lines and very interesting racecraft. I'm definitely sure of that.
Absolutely, Dylan, and I see the excitement so far. I mean, obviously from our standpoint of view here, there's lots of action going on, and I'm just trying to direct ourselves into the right possible contest, because that's what it's all about this evening. I go up now quickly just to Bruno, where he's facing off. And he's really on the tail of Jakes at the moment. You can see the distance that's been created. It's almost now 1 second off the race leader. Yep. And then the next one is around about 8 seconds. So these three are really just dominating this race this evening.
Most definitely. The other interesting thing is that the tire wear will come into play here. I'm not too sure whether the guys will actually take a pit, but at the moment it is clear. The sun is shining. It's about 40 degrees here at Oschersleben, but halfway through the race, oh, that was a little bit of a curb there by Scholl. Well, that's what it looked like. I'm not sure where he caught the curb or whether he just wanted to minimize the slipstream effect that he was creating for the guys behind him. What I was saying is that the tires will be heating up very much now, but as we get into the race, the clouds will come and will cool down the track, and then once again you'll see that the tires will come in. So I don't think these lap times will stay this quick for too much longer, and then we'll see them start dropping down a little bit.
Just going down to V-dub at the moment, because bit of excitement he's got going. I think Ronaldo is actually right behind VW. My understanding is
That
these
is
guys
correct.
are teammates.
No, we actually have Louis, he actually immigrated to New Zealand. So Gerard, he is driving by himself. But there was a little look there by, that's actually Ronaldo that we're looking at now, and he's got VW in front of him. But now he has Duppy behind, so there into the wall. I think that is Vince.
Just at the top of the screen,
Yep.
you can see Vincent there.
Vincent,
it's
he
lost him
unfortunately
totally.
he caught that curb, and I'm sure that's going to be the end of his race. Very disappointing to have seen that. But that curb is so tricky on the outside there, especially because now you've got the power on, and man, my heart really feels for Vince because he really did not have a good race in the first one, and I'm sure he was looking to do a lot better here.
On board with Andrew at the moment. Oh, there we go. Joe,
yeah, he just manages to keep that off the wall. Well recovered there, Andrew. Yeah, I do think that Vince has retired. I do not see him on the board anymore there, Savvy.
Yeah, but unfortunate. And I mean, we drove this track this past week, and obviously a lot of comments came through on the curb and touching the curb and how sensitive this little car is with those curbs, and just that slight error and you're basically going into the wall. So I fully understand the frustration there. You just clip the curb a little bit and you're off the track.
Yeah, I see that we Gavin GTZA, he actually put up a message just to say that our voice is about 5 seconds quicker than the actual action. I see Memo, he's now joined as well, and he's saying that Turbo Shoal drives Commando extra slipstream.
Was that 5 seconds quicker than the image?
Our voices are coming through 5 seconds quicker than what's actually been seen. So that is very interesting. I cannot explain why that would be happening.
So we'll have to talk a little bit slower.
I'm just looking at the timings there, and it looks like Jakes has fallen off the pace a bit. Bruno, he's now up into second place. Jakes has dropped 8 seconds behind them. So to the Bravo tier, the guys that are in the stream, thanks for joining us. We did have some technical issues, so unfortunately guys, we will be starting a little bit later than expected, but I'm sure the racing will be just as intense. Great move there on the inside there by Jacques. He saw the opportunity. Oh no, that is not Jacques. That is Jerky, car number. Oh, I'm so confused. The cars are just so close together. Who is in that front green car there, Savvy? If you can just jump up. That is Durkee.
The green car?
The green car in front is Duppy. Thank you. Duppy, he made that great overtake there going into the last corner and got himself ahead of Durkee. Ross, I'm not too sure, but let's go have a look. Savvy, we can just jump to Jake's, please. Let's just go have a look at his car. Ross is questioning whether there might be some damage on his car. That does look like a little bump there on the front, little scratches. So he might be carrying a little bit of damage there. And looking at his lap times, he's not too far off the race pace, but he definitely has lost time from the two guys in front.
Lap number 6 for Turbo Charles at the moment. And you can see there's almost almost 2 seconds between these two drivers. That's Turbo Charles and Bruno at the moment. And you can see quite that distance in. As you can see, he's coming through the S's now. Oh, a little bit of heavy brake in there from Bruno. I think he's really trying to climb into that throttle to get up to Turbo Charles at the moment. Jakes seems to have some damage.
Yeah, he's definitely is falling back now.
Yeah, you can see that front right tire seems to be a little bit wobbly.
So now we'll see that the guys will start settling into their rhythm, and this is where we'll start seeing the effects of the tire wear and how the guys actually manage that.
Let's just go here, because I think this is where Quicksilver now is catching up to fold over.
And I see that Chris, he's still right behind VW there. So they too are having their own little battle with couple of 0.4 of a second there between the two of them.
Yeah, let's just move up to them.
We'll have a look on the inside. No, he goes on the brakes a little bit early. I think that was very smart. But now what he needs to do is have a quick run through here that will allow him to move to the inside for that last corner. But Gerard goes defensive. He just tightened his line up there, so it didn't allow Christopher to take that line. But that was a great exit there. Will he be able to tuck in behind him? Yes, he has. So Chris will move to the inside here into turn number 1. And now my heart is pounding. Chris is on the brakes a little bit earlier, and he allows Gerard to go through. Sure, I honestly did not expect that. So they exit out of the hotel with Christopher just behind Gerard. So if you can just give us the track map just so we can see where everybody is relative to each other.
Now I'm going to be doing that now, Dylan. I just want to go up there. There we go. Track up.
Thank you very much.
Speedo's on.
So that actually gives us a great indication of the braking points as well as the acceleration points for Chris. And we'll be able to see where he comes off the power a little bit earlier. So we'll just watch those brake lights. You can see that he definitely brakes a little bit earlier than Gerard. But I'm sure he's going to be wanting to set up the similar move to what he had done the previous lap. Whoa, that was very close. Will he late apex here? So he is tucked in behind Gerard once again. I just don't think he's going to have the speed. Now coming into turn number 1 on the brakes together. They are side by side and Chris is able to sneak through on the inside. So Chris now moves up into 4th place. That was a well executed overtake there. Good job there, Chris. Stephen just put up a comment to say that his nerves are building up now. He can't wait. Don't worry, Stephen. In less than 30 minutes, you will be racing. Ross has just made a great point there. He's like, good luck, Stephen. You can see here where mistakes can be made and use this as the way that you can learn from the mistakes. So that is a great insight there from Ross. Good job. Our Scottish international. So it seems Chris is starting to pull away that gap away from Gerard. So we can just jump to the front of the pack. I just want to see whether that is Bruno starting to close that gap on Scholl. Just want to see how close that gap is. So it's still 2 seconds. It looked like they were a little bit closer on the actual map itself. Bruno definitely driving in his signature black and yellow colors with the red trim, and his teammate Marius, he would generally drive in the black and yellow car with the black trim. So Bruno is starting to close the gap up. You can see he has found 0.7 of a second against Scholl. So I'm not sure whether Scholl is just taking it a little bit easier. If we can just bring up those lap times so we can compare the two. Thank you, Savvy. So we can see Bruno went half a second quicker than Scholl there. And Jakes, he unfortunately is nearly a second slower than this crew. And wow, look at that. Chris, oh sorry, I misread that for a second there. But Chris is still 0.4 slower than Jakes. So that is the current positions. So Scholl, he leads here on lap number 11 with Bruno second, Jakes is in third. That is Chris in fourth, Gerard, he's in fifth place with Dirkie in sixth. Dupi, he's in seventh place with Jacques eighth, Andrews in ninth, Dane in 10th, and Ronaldo in 11th position. So the 7th and 8th drivers, very, very interesting to see how close those two lap times were, considering that those two guys are teammates. That is the two TTR drivers, and separated by mere 0.02 of a second. So that would put it in. Just seeing a little battle starting to happen between the two teammates there at 7th and 8th. So Savvy, if you could just jump to 7th for us. There we go. So that on screen is Jacques. He's in 8th place, starting to close the gap up on his teammate. We'll just see the lap time difference as they cross the line. So Jacques going nearly a second faster than his teammate. So he definitely will be closing up that gap very soon. So we are just about halfway through, and unfortunately we have lost Vince. He did come out of hotel, put it on the outside curb, and that just flung him straight into the barrier, and unfortunately that would have damaged the car and would not have been able to continue. Ross, you're right. Chris is starting to close that gap up on Jake, so just over 2 seconds there. And once again, Scholl, he opens that lead to Bruno to just over 2 seconds. So 1.5 seconds between Oh, that gap is also closing, so Jakes, he's gonna start having Christopher catching him. That there is the battle for the podium, and I'm sure Jakes is not gonna let Chris go by very easily. And the two teammates, Dupi and Jacques, they are also starting to get ever so closer. Oh, Jakes is very wide. Going into turn number 3. We can see how close Chris got there. And just looking at the lap times, Chris got a 139.2 versus Jakes a 140.6. So a 1.4 seconds difference in that lap time. Jakes really is struggling now. We now just need to see if Chris is able to just keep it calm, keep it collected, and set Jakes up for a proper move as opposed to just forcing an overtake. Jacques within 0.4 of a second to his teammate, so it looks like Jacques will be moving up the order very soon as well. Now I need to see whether Chris will do the same maneuver that he had up against VW. The exits look pretty similar. Well, Jakes, he will stay on the inside. He is not going to allow Chris to just take that inside. Now it's all about the braking. Will Chris be able to go around the outside of Jakes? Jakes defends the line, cuts him off for the beginning of the hotel. So I'm sure now Chris has realized that Jakes is not going to let this position go very easily. Oh, careful Jakes, that curb will definitely spit you out. Now through the triple, and then into this very tricky, the little chicane. Long right-hander which tightens up, and then you go through this little chicane, and when you get this right, you can see how that car just bounces from the one side to the next. It really is awesome going through there once you hit it perfectly. So Chris seemed to have just lost a little bit of time there on Jakes. So if we can just jump to position 6, please. Ooh, I wonder if that was team orders there, because all of a sudden Dupi was going a lot slower and his teammate came flying past him. That's definitely one for the commentary afterwards. We got a message from Jeff here. The Mumbo super fast, but I fear he's carrying some damage. Jeff, I think you're right there. Dupi coming back on Jacques. Will he move to the inside? Yes, he does. So he once again will get that place back. I think he might have just got a slowdown penalty. But we have the battle once again for 3rd and 4th. Savvy, if we can just jump there. That is Chris going to the inside for the triple, but realize that Jakes would just squeeze him out. Oh, Chris is a little bit wide. He would have lost some time there against Jakes. This is where Chris will need to get himself much closer to Jakes, get himself through the shell curve and the Armand curve. It is there through turn number 8, Bauer, where he'll need to get right up behind Jakes, so set himself up for that last corner at Zeppelin to get the drive down the main straight. We'll have a look on the inside here. No, I thought he might have. But once again, they are going to be racing side by side. Jakes is defending the inside. Chris will have to move to the outside once again. They're on the brakes at the same time. Will there be a lock-up side by side? What a great move there by Chris. Jakes gave him enough space, but all that did was just put Jakes on the outside for the second part of that corner. And that puts Chris up into third place, and Jakes now drops down to fourth. What a move. That was incredible. So we can just see how much Jakes, or how much ground Jakes is now losing to Chris. He definitely has got some damage on that car of his. And Bruno, he's gone quicker than Charles once again. Now that gap has dropped just under 2 seconds. But it seems that as he starts getting just past that 1.1 second, I'm not sure whether Charles just increases his pace, but then that gap opens up once again. So in shot, that is the race leader. That looks like Ronaldo is about to be lapped. So Charles and Bruno doing just about like for like laps there. But that gap is starting to close up. Bruno getting down just under that 1.5 second mark. So just over 12 minutes left of this race. Guys, put up a comment there. Will Bruno catch Charles here in these last 10 minutes? Let us know what you think. Or is Charles just playing it easy and managing that gap between himself and Bruno? What do you guys think out there? So Save, I see that Jacques, he's also dropped down the order there. That is Dirkie, he's now moved up into 6th place. So he's moved himself ahead of Jacques. So that's Jacques currently circulating in 8th place. Oh, Jacques a little bit wide there, coming into Shell Curve. Yeah, he had to come off the power there. I see the little blue dot on the map is now being overtaken by both the two white dots, so that means that Charles and Bruno have got ahead of Ronaldo. And the gap between Charles and Bruno now just over 1 second. And the comment we've seen is Bruno will come in strong in the last 2 laps. Did I read that right? Bruno will come strong in the last 2 laps. Yes. Thank you, Ross. Dirkie, he's now starting to close the gap up on Duppy, so just under a second there, so 0.6 of a second between Duppy now and Quicksilver or Dirkie. Oh, Jacques is wide through the triple. You can see that the grip levels that he was expecting to be having, they aren't there anymore. And Bruno, we've seen that they've just crossed the line, so Charles did go that 0.1 quicker than Bruno, where the lap before Bruno was actually 0.2 seconds quicker than him. So the gap between these two are also starting to close up. Durkee now within 0.4, that was 0.6 of a second just on about 3 corners ago. So it looks like Durkee, he's starting to find some more pace here. Less than 10 minutes to go. So we have just on about 6 laps and then this race will be done. So Durkee going 0.6 of a second quicker than Duppy. So Duppy is going to be feeling the pressure. Will Durkee have a look to the inside? Whoa, that was close. Thought that they might have touched through turn number 3. So Bruno almost in striking distance now. I'm also starting to think he might actually get a little bit of a slipstream advantage coming down the main straight. That's 0.8 of a second now. So Bruno is definitely closing up on Charles. We'll see the different lap times as they cross the line. That is Bruno having gone 0.5 of a second quicker, plus some change. Eight minutes to go, so that will give us just on about 5 laps. And Durkee, he's now closed that gap down to just about 0.4. I saw it for about 0.3, it's now down to 0.4. But Bruno definitely is coming on strong here in the dying seconds of this race. 0.4 of a second, well that's just on 0.5 now. With Charles touching the brakes there through the chicane. Bruno looking for a slipstream advantage here through Shell corner, then through Armand. Flat out through there. Bruno is going to definitely get the slipstream advantage down the main straight. That was as close as you're going to get. But it looked like Charles got a better drive out of the corner there than Bruno did. So Bruno not able to make an impact. You can see how that car was just squirting coming into that braking zone. So Bruno now all over the back of Charles, 0.3 of a second. And Duppy, he's also now just increased his speed. Him and Durkee now doing the same lap times, and that 0.4 is, oh, it looks like they are side by side. That is correct. So that is Durkee side by side, Duppy and Durkee. Oh, a little tack there, but that's caused confusion. That's going to allow Jacques to squeeze through the inside. So Jacques, he now moves himself up into 6th place, but he touches the curb. Was that the curb, Savvy? I didn't quite see that. I was looking at the timing. But that is Jacques. He unfortunately spun off. He had managed to slip through those two positions coming through the entrance of the hotel and ran a little bit wide. Looks like he had hit the curb, and unfortunately he's now dropped down into 8th. Roche just emphasizing, he's saying, told ya, come on Kadile. Ooh, big lock up there for Scholl. That's gonna be heating up those tires even more. Into turn 5. McDonald's is after the chicane. So it's all very good and well that Bruno has caught Scholl, but will he have an opportunity to overtake with less than 2 laps to go? They might get, well, I'd say less than 3 laps. They should get 2 laps in. So this is where Bruno needs to make sure that he gets a good exit. Yeah, coming out of this corner now through Bauer. He needs to be able to tuck in behind Scholl, get a good exit. And I think that is as good as it's going to get. And Scholl moves to the outside to set himself up on the racing line. And again, both drivers having those cars very squirrely on those brakes. So say we have 3 minutes left, which means that we will only get 2 laps out of this. Just looking at Andrew in 8th place, he's had a very quiet race there. He had a little bit of positions changing up in the beginning of the race. He did move up to 6th, and he has seemed to have just dropped down and just hasn't been able to find that pace. And then we have Dane also having a quiet race down in 10th place, sorry, and Ronaldo down in 11th. With me having looked at the scoreboard, I see that Bruno, he actually has now dropped down the field. He's now 2 seconds away. I'm not sure if he had made a mistake or what had happened, but Bruno fighting for that first position, unfortunately doesn't look like he's going to have the opportunity here. He definitely made a mistake there. That's a 141.2. considering Bruno was doing very low 139s. So the questions come up about Gavin GTZA. Why are some driver positions in red and some in white? Gavin, the ones that you're seeing will have a time penalty added to their time at the end of this race. So we still might have some position changes. We'll have to wait and see. So with 50 seconds to go, Scholl coming through the chicane here just before McDonald's. Not sure whether he'll have enough time to get around the track in the next 30 seconds or so. So we actually might get another lap. 15 seconds. So Scholl will cross the line. So yes, we will have one more lap of this race. So Bruno has found himself another second against Scholl. So will there be one final charge into the last corner? Scholl just needs to keep it on the track, and he will come back having missed the first race, and he will win here, round number 2 at Oschersleben.
So what a race it has been this evening. Just looking now, Turbo Scholl coming into the remaining time is done and dusted, but it looks like Bruno is caught up quite nicely. I'm interested to see now what's going to take place, because this is the last lap coming in.
Yep, this is now the last corner. And that's it. Scholl, he will cross the line, and Bruno will will have a little weaving match with him.
There we go. So race is complete. Nice job from Turbo Scholl there. I'm sure you'll agree with me, Dylan, as well as Bruno. Very tight racing, and an excellent one it's been once again for SARCO this week.
Yep, thank you very much. We're just going to wait for the guys to cross the line, and then we'll be able to just go in quickly and just have a chat with the top 3 drivers. Yes, Ross, you're absolutely right. Is that what it's doing is it's just highlighting that there are some time penalties that would need to be served after the race. So once we go into the final standings, we will know exactly who finished where, and if Scholl did have more than 2-second penalty, oh, it was actually Bruno who had the penalty. Thank you, Savvy, for bringing that up. So there you go, guys, and now you can see who has a penalty to serve. So Bruno actually had 4-second penalty there. Jakes, he too had 4 seconds. Jacques and that is Andrew, they both had 3, and Ronaldo a 2-second penalty. So we are complete here with the Alpha tier. The Bravo tier will be starting in the next couple of minutes. Just need to take the picture of the results. And that controller obviously is not working, so we need to use this one. So there we go, that is that. Let's just scroll down, and then we have that one. Then Savvy, we can return to lobby and we can go and chat to the guys. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
remember, you are officially live on the SARCO Esports channel. Christopher, we will start off with you. A great 3rd place. You had us holding our breath there, having a few takes, going into turn number 1, twice against V-Dubber and then once against Scholl. How do you feel about your 3rd place?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I feel alright. I made a couple mistakes. I wanted to be up at the top, but otherwise I had some good racing, and yeah, take some point home and do it. Not a bad day.
Cool. And then Jakes, we missed it, but we saw that your lap time was coming down. Did you by any chance have some damage?
Alan, I did have pick up some damage. I drove into the wall. I was getting a little bit closer to Scholl there in first place, and I messed up. What can I say? And then yeah, my car had damage, and then my times just dropped. from there was.
And we could definitely see that on the timing sheet, so really unlucky there. And Bruno, you had your fan club in the background there saying that you would come on strong in the last couple of laps, and boy, did that definitely come true. You almost got there and just couldn't find a way around Charles in those last couple of laps.
Yeah, it was tough. I was coming, but catching was really hard, and to overtake, I tried to get close, but the tires were quite worn and it got even harder to orchestrate an attack. But he drove well done to him, and I'm happy with my second place, considering my start wasn't the greatest. But good racing, it's good fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome, it really was great to watch. And then Charles, you unfortunately missed our first week. You've come back to the second week. You've put yourself on the top. Great race there.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. It was fun. Just a case of managing the tyres to the end. Yeah, close race. Very, very nice race.
All right, awesome. Guys, thank you very much. If you could please exit the party so we can get the Bravo tier in. And we hope to see you on the live stream. Thanks very much, guys. To the guys watching it at home, the Bravo tier, get those PlayStations on. Your invites are coming shortly.
Guys? Dylan?
Can you hear Theo Striker? He's asking you what livery you should use. Is it okay? Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Good evening, boys.
How's
we?
it?
Tight little race that was, huh?
So it seems as though Pete is still clashing with somebody.
Come on.
Hey Dylan.
I think you should just drive both of the things at the same time. I mean, both tiers at the same time. This is not going to work, guys. I'm sorry to say that, but it's too late. Okay, you say so. You're very optimistic, but I'm not thing. You're extremely optimistic. Just trying to see what my driver is. So I can't remember this.
No, I don't know. Currently, he's working like.
I feel for better.
He's just got problems with his internet all the time.
At least you got Steven sorted out now.
Yeah.
Hey, Steven.
What's happening, boys?
Good in you.
Right there. Sweet.
Is it qualifying or anything? We just drive.
Craig,
Craig
he's not
said he's
gonna
not-
make it.
Ah, no, man. He's
No,
leaving.
he's got
He bought
guests
something
over
to-
and
yeah.
they're sleeping in the same room we.
Well, tough shit for the guests. That'll be my rule. Watch me, bitches. Support me.
Who was saying that?
Kevin.
Gavin. I don't know you yet, Gavin. I can't say anything.
Now you can say, but I don't care.
At least you don't like Marquez, so it's okay.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, well, Peter's got a mic going, but his license is not up.
Of this is done in the mind, in the preparation, in memorising the lap perfectly and tuning the car, and he just took it to another level in terms of being able to bring all those components together.
Unlucky.
Hey, Peter.
Ach ja, Pieter, nie alweer nie.
That's quicker than me.
Peter,
Peter?
try go out and come back in. Yeah, he says he even switched his internet.
Wat is spoed Telkom lyn het jy, Pieter? Dit maak nie sin dat jy so sukkel nie. Wat 'n net drukker daar so weg.
It's
Sy
11
laas
o'clock.
gewees het was net 2. Wat hy showed laat on his foto.
Maar dit maak nie sin nie, want ek het 'n gewone ASL lyn nie en ek sukkel glad nie. Okay, maar dit is konstant.
Hy is kon wel, ja. Meer konstant is die LTE, ja.
Ja, baie.
No, it's got no mic.
Ja, daar is die mic ook nou weg, ja.
How many laps is this left? 25.
Alright guys, we are back with the, let me just fix that tag, it is now the Bravo tier. We unfortunately have lost Peter once again, his line just not working, and we unfortunately have lost Craig for this evening. We then have Rudy will be joining us. Rudy is currently second in the championship. Yulan, he's with us as well. He's currently in third place on 42 points. We then have Gavin in fourth place with Ashley in fifth. Then everybody else is still to score. Peter, he is not with us, but we do have Veritorous Memo. He has joined us this evening. Roy is with us. We have Theo. He will be in one of the bright green mature cars. And Johnny Speed, he unfortunately is not with us. We have sent in by 2 Kadongs, and we're hoping that he does join us.
Hi guys.
Hey, how's it? Yeah, no, carry on. So just out there at the moment, you can see the guys are taking care of what's happening. Obviously 8 drivers in this particular heat, and it is the qualification rounds at the moment, so obviously the guys are enjoying it big time. And obviously we haven't got a time at the moment, but we've got about 8 minutes 30 odd seconds left in this session, and we'll be up and ready. We've got Solash at the moment. Sorry about that. I promise you I haven't had anything to drink this evening, but just couldn't get that out. We've got Steven, we've got the awesome just in the third spot at the moment, but we are waiting for those times to come up. And as Dylan mentioned in the first session, this is quite a difficult track to get a time on, because the race director is pretty severe on track limits. So yeah, we're gonna be watching with enthusiasm and excitement this evening on what's happening here at SARCO, and that's going to give us an indication of who's going to be up and running for the Beta Championship at the moment. We've just done the Alpha, this is now the Beta Championship, and we'll be watching who is near and who's going to be taking control of this race this evening. Steven still in the pits there. Be awesome on the track as well. Still no official times up at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to be taking a look at who is going to be very, very closely followed, and who's going to be on top this evening. Nice to see Interstriker should I say. He's on Project Cars this evening. Normally see him a lot racing the GT Sport version of Gran Turismo, so nice to see him this evening. Great to have him on board.
So
There
Ashley
is
comes
one of our
past.
internationals.
So Ashley, he goes
Go ahead,
top.
Dylan.
I was just going to say that that's Ashley, he's gone fastest with a 140.7. But then Theo, he comes past and he puts in the fastest lap. So I did get those wrong. But we try that again. Ashley was on a 141.0, and then Theo, Intrepid Striker, he comes past and goes fastest with a 140.7. Whoa, that was a big power slide there. But he managed to hold out. He managed to hold on to that.
That is our Drift King for this evening, right there.
I think, guys, if you have just joined us, we do have in the virtual commentary box, we have Savvy from the South African Academy of Online Racing in the commentary box. You will see the website below if you'd like to get involved with some F1 2019. The Savvy is the one that will organize a unassisted half race distance F1 race on a Sunday. So please go check out that website, and if you'd like to get involved with some F1, Savvy's your guy.
Dylan, always a pleasure. Thanks for the promoting done on SARCO, and I am actually streaming on the South African Academy of Online Racing this evening. Just to give us a feel if there is a difference in the sound, and hopefully you guys can hear us properly on the SARCO stream. And please let us know. I know that the guys were talking about delays and all sorts of things, so hopefully you can just give us an indication there. But thank you for the punt. It's always great to have, and obviously we do the same when we do our Sunday evenings. Make sure that everybody knows if you want to do PC2 racing, SARCO is the place to be. And one of it's fantastic racing that we're always given on a Thursday evening. And even on Mondays, I believe Mondays you're doing the 5-lappers. Is that still in play?
Yeah, we do still do the 5-lappers, what we call the 5x5, the little 5-race championships. And we've actually 2 weeks ago did our endurance series where we do a 2-hour endurance race, and that's every third week or so. That is all up on the website. So if you just have a look at the bottom, I'll just bring up the website as well as our Facebook page. If you'd like to just follow the page, you'll get all what's happening here within SARCO. Plus we normally would be streaming through to YouTube and Twitch, but for some reason we're just not getting our Twitch feed to come up correctly. There's just something wrong with the stream, and we are running a little bit late as we had some technical issues. But I see that Ashley's closing the gap there against Theo. He has gone a little bit quicker in shot. That is Memo, our Greek international. And we have lost a driver. I see that there are only 7 drivers up there now. Just look at the driver standing. It looks like we've lost Stephen.
Wash line, Stephen, DC, obviously.
We're saying Stephen is saying that he can't leave the pits. But if Stephen couldn't leave the pits, we would have still seen his name up there. So I think he might actually just left, while we see Yoden getting very, very sideways through the triple. And that behind him is his teammate, so I'm not sure. Whoa, big drift there by Yulan, going out of the triple there. If he keeps throwing the car around like that, he is definitely not going to be keeping the tire wear to an optimal.
Nice to watch, but not too friendly on the tires.
Definitely not.
Wow, that was coming through with a bit of vengeance there.
That was his teammate Rudy just... Oh, that wasn't Rudy. That was actually a Gavin 58 GTZA going around him.
No, there's Gav. So I wonder who that... Oh, it's actually Be Awesome.
Whoa.
Oh! What
the
heck was that?
He just jumped into the pits. So I see Ashley, he's now gone quickest with a 1 minute 40.69, so 0.047 of a second, has now separated himself, put himself on the top ahead of Theo.
Now with Rudy at the moment, just having a look at what he's doing.
So Rudy only doing a 141.9, so that is just on about 1 second too slow to get himself into pole. And that will conclude the qualifying, so the guys will be on their final laps with Yolan, Memo and Roy already having finished there. That was Roy in the pits already. That is Ashley. He has now realized that he's gone into the pits. That is now Theo. I'm sure he'll be trying to put in one last charge there for the line to put himself on pole position. Oh, a little bit wide there, so that might just impact on his performance there. Was that a different voice I heard in the commentary box there?
It could have been.
My goodness, we have the Malwood himself, TTR Mal driver, Jacques Struber. How are you, boy?
Fine, you guys.
So Jacques, we see that you were having quite a number of battles with your teammates as well as Dirkie. How did that race turn out for you?
No, it was quite lucky, I must admit. We had quite a lucky battle. And then on that first corner, they actually went into each other. I tried to take the inside line, and then as I went around the corner, Dirk tapped my backside and I went straight into the wall. So yeah.
So we unfortunately didn't pick that up on the stream. We actually thought that you might have just gone up onto the curb. Let's just push the X and get these guys started. So we honestly didn't see that and saw you going. We did see you going into the wall, and did comment that that would have definitely have been the end of your race there.
Yeah, but at least we had a like a battle. It's all about that stadium. But yeah, at least Andrew. Quite a nice guy and gave me a 8th position back again. So thanks, Andrew.
I
think Mal's actually in the box. He wants me to go and do some sniping with him at the moment. Sniper 4. That's why he's actually in the box. He's just saying, "Come on, hurry up now, Dylan." Because we have such fun playing that game together, you know. I mean, whenever I see Mal on there, I get a little bit worried because I know something's coming up behind me. But anyway, it's racing tonight. That's what it is. So
definitely savvy. At least no whistling yet to get it going. So
we are here just waiting for the sinking to happen, because they are in the 2-minute holding lobby, just waiting for the guys to put up their thing. Oh, Stephen, not too sure what had happened there. He's just come up and said, well, I will be watching. So that is another week that Stephen and Peter will miss out. Really unfortunate to see that. Well, the guys are green and we are racing. But Theo's had a little bit of a bad start there. He's getting surrounded. So Theo's now down into 5th place. They must just take it easy going to the first corners. Everyone's on the brakes nice and early. Very controlled through there. Yes, no bumping and barging. That is good to see. So now we can get racing. But Theo's up on the inside, so he will move himself ahead of Yulan. So Theo now up into 4th place, but Yulan's coming back on the inside, but allows Theo to go through. Gavin, he's up into 2nd place, now starting to try and close that gap down on Ashley, who's managed to get himself away through the triple single file. And Jacques, from your experience on the track, what actually happens to the tires through the race?
Yeah, especially the left front. If you come through that second last corner, you're reaching temperatures of about 117 degrees on that left front. So yeah, as soon as you go into turn 1 again, you'll need to turn quite quick in because there's no grip on that tire actually.
Oh, I see. And when the clouds came and it gets overcast, did that help at all? Oh, Rudy taking a lot of that curb with him, so that's going to allow both his teammates and Theo to go around the outside. So that is Theo, he's now up into 3rd place, and Rudy, or sorry, Yulan, he now goes up into 4th. Sorry, Jacques, you were saying?
Yeah, no, when it got overcast, it came down drastically till about, say, 101 through that one turn. So, yeah, big difference.
No, that was not a good move there by Yulan. A little bit too eager to get that place back, but it doesn't look like there was any damage by the guys, so they are going to continue fighting here. The Theo a little bit wide into turn number 3. So Ashley out in front, starting to open the gap away from Gavin. And it looks like we have lost another driver. That is Roy, who's now unfortunately, he is left. We have a Duppy, he's just joined the live stream. Hi there Duppy, the Jacques. Duppy, actually your teammate. We saw there might have been some driver, or not driver, some team orders there, or was that Duppy just got time penalty and you let him through?
Yeah, and I remember on the back straight, I think he actually got a time penalty and I passed him on the inside. And then through the first or last corner again, I had not a lacquer drive out of that corner and he overtake me down the straight again.
Well, all I can say is that Yulan is being very, very aggressive here on the back of Theo. But it really is making for some good racing. I hope he doesn't have a dive in from there. But he's trying to take as shortest routes as possible. But unfortunately, jumping the curbs like that is not going to be getting you any time. Well, Ashley's a little bit wide into turn number 3. Let's see whether Yulan can get his head down and close that gap there to Theo, and whether Theo can start closing that gap down to Gavin. Remembering that Theo had put in the second quickest time, was bogged down off the start and found himself into 5th, where now he's moved himself up into 3rd place. And unfortunately we have lost Stephen. He was stuck in the pits and could not start. We have just lost Roy through a disconnection, so we are unfortunately down to 6 drivers. So guys, if you are watching the stream, just drop us a message, say hi, just tell us who you think will end up winning this race.
But I must say, even the track temperature dropped quite drastically when it gets overcast. About, say, almost 7 degrees.
Yeah, because I know that when we started it started off at about 41 degrees. So does that mean it actually dropped down nearly to about, what's it, about 46? It'll be about 36, no, 36, 30, about 34.
Yeah.
Well, that's Theo now getting right up behind Gavin. I wonder if he was watching the stream and has learned from what Chris had done, but that's Theo moving to the inside through turn number 2. So he's now moved himself up into second place. And just looking at the lap time, Theo is actually currently the fastest person on the track. So I'm hoping in the next couple of laps is that he will be starting to challenge Ashley for the front. Dane putting up a comment to use the cones. Dane, in what way, son? We would like to know, how would you like us to use the cones? And then Jacques, the track limits on this track, how strict are they really?
Yeah, I don't know how this race direction actually can give you a penalty if you run wide in some of these turns, because you lose actually a lot of time. You're not gaining actually, but yeah, they are quite harsh, I must say.
Some of the drivers getting in excess of 3-second penalties. It was actually Bruno who had the highest on 4 seconds.
Yeah, no, I think Bruno got it for myself, got 3 seconds, so yeah.
So they're looking at the lap time. So Ashley, he's now gone fastest on a 140.6. Theo 141.0. There's Gavin on a 141.7. Then Yulan a 142.1. Rudy's on a 142.5, and then Memo in a 143.5. And Stephen, yes, you're right. Ash is always quick. But it's all about what does he do with the tires, how does he manage them coming to the end of the race. Because there is currently on board with Yulan, and there's only 6 seconds between himself and Ashley. So there's still, anything can happen. Yeah, on board with Theo, great line there through the little chicane. And the curbs on this track, Jacques, are extremely dangerous, am I right?
Yeah, especially if you touch even the in or outside. If you get a wheel on it, you can make yourself ready for the next split.
You touch the curb and it takes you straight to the scene of the accident, right?
Yeah.
So I see Ashley, he has gone 0.3 seconds slower than Theo. We'll just see what happens when they cross the line now. So there's a 142.1 for Ashley, which means Theo has done nearly 0.8 of a seconds quicker. So Theo is actually closing the gap down on him. And Yulan is going to make it extremely uncomfortable for Gavin. Yulan will go to the inside to stay off that curb. And it was at that point there, Jacques, where all of a sudden your car changed direction and put you straight into the wall.
Yeah, definitely.
So through the triple, Yulan is chasing Gavin. Well, they're both a little bit wide. There'll be a bit of a lock-up on the brakes. Yulan moves to the inside, but he's too much on the curb. He's unable to get the power down, so he has to come off that power. Just let Gavin go through. Yulan was just on, yeah, it was, sure, nearly 1.5 seconds slower than Gavin their previous lap.
Okay.
So we have 30 minutes left of this race. So if you guys are still watching, thanks for sticking with us here. We unfortunately did have some technical issues in the beginning. We had this live stream, it was going, it was active, but it wasn't coming up onto YouTube. Then the lobby itself decided to do its own little freakouts, and it basically corrupted itself, so we had to restart that. Yulan pushing once again through the inside, but Gavin should have the faster outside line, and yes, Yulan is not able to get that power on. And Theo closing that gap now on Ashley. I'm not sure whether Ashley is experiencing some overheating in his tires, but he's just done 142s back to back. But really cool to see these two, and they both wide through the triple. Gavin's got it very, very sideways. I think Yulan gave him a little bit of a nudge and said, sorry for that, take that place back. I don't want to take it that way, which is really, really great to see. And that gap is closing ever so slowly between Ashley and Theo. And I'd say in the next 3 laps is that we're going to be watching a battle there for first and second, where we're currently watching at third and fourth battling it out. Yulan is really, really giving Gavin a hard time here, fighting for that third spot on the podium. Yeah, Stephen, it breaks my heart to see you in the lobby there, waiting for your chance to get onto the track. And we do appreciate you watching the race and supporting the guys here in the Bravo tier. So Ashley is quicker than Theo. That gap now 1.5 seconds between first and second. Gavin is being harassed here by Yulan in fourth place, then in fifth. That is Rudy, and we can see the confirmation now that Stephen disconnected and Roy disconnected. I'm not sure whether Stephen took Roy with him at the same time. And you can just see on the map is that there are 6 cars, but it looks like there are only 5 dots. But that looks like it is Gavin that has gone off, and Theo's now moved up into third place. And unfortunately we did miss that, so we'll definitely have to ask them after the race what had exactly happened there. But Theo now has got within a second of Ashley. They will cross the line to begin a lap number 9. We'll do a quick comparison of those lap times. That is a 1:42.1 for Ashley and a 1:41.2 for Theo. So Theo definitely the fastest on the track at the moment.
Oh well, guys, I'm off to the shower, so yeah.
Thank you, Jacques, for popping in and saying how's it, and we'll catch you next week.
No problem. Enjoy. Speak to you guys tomorrow again. Cheers,
Thank you.
Savvy.
Cheers. Bye-bye. And that is Jacques Scrube, our Mal TTR driver, has now left the building, and Theo now starting to put lots of pressure on Ashley. I'm sure Ashley's going to be watching his mirrors, and we unfortunately saw that Gavin went off there through through turn number 6. And unfortunately he's now dropped down into 4th place. So we'll just keep an eye out on the lap times just to see whether he's actually able to start recovering some of that time. So across the line, and that is the new fastest lap for Theo. That was his fastest delta. Very different lines for these two drivers, where Ashley likes to drift out wide, then tighten up as he's exiting. Whoa, very close on that curb there was Theo. Ashley is wide. If Theo tightens up, he will be able to take off a few hundredths of a second there once again. He is now within 0.4 of a second. This is exactly what we want to be seeing for the start of the next 25 minutes, but we are missed that by 2 minutes for the next 23 minutes. Well, Stephen, we must definitely still do some more investigating. I think that it might be with possibly Peter coming in and out. He said he's just creating this little glitch, because every time that Peter has left the party, the guys have said that they've been stuck in the pits, and I do think that when you had left, you unfortunately had taken Roy with you. So that is the second disconnection for Roy. But now these two have everything to race for. We'll look at the lap times when they cross the line once again, and Theo is right up behind him. Will Ashley stay defensive? Yes, he does. He stays on the inside, but I think Theo will have the run down him. Going into turn number 1, side by side. They're on the brakes at the same time. Will Theo take the wider line? He cuts to the inside. Theo now moves into first place, and that is now Ashley down into second. So absolutely a great move there by Theo. He really timed that superbly. Lap times I'm seeing is Gavin still in 4th place, but he is unfortunately 0.3 of a second slower than Yulan. So Yulan definitely is going quicker than him. You can see that that gap is just about 5 seconds, so we'll have to keep hanging on to there. Well, Stephen, that is absolutely great news. Thanks for letting us know. Savvy, we got a message here from Stephen to say that it looks like the stream's a lot better now. It doesn't look like there's any delay. That is fantastic news.
Yeah, obviously for me, I didn't want to speak too much because of the delay, and thought that was actually going to be sorting it out. But as you mentioned now, obviously that has somewhat helped.
Really happy with that, so that is great. Just a little bit wide there for Rudy, but he's now trying to close the gap down on Gavin. I think that's Rudy just nursing a time penalty. You see, he already has a penalty, so I'm sure he's just trying not to add any more seconds to his final time there. And Theo, he's in 2nd place, so he might have made a mistake to allow Ashley to go ahead of him once again. So Theo's going to have it all cut out once again to get in front of him. This 1.6 litre, I believe you said last week, is really working itself extremely hard here. You could hear the guys are just changing down before they get into that hairpin, and how the cylinders are really moaning. So Theo having found another 0.1 of a second to Ashley. And I wonder whether Ashley would have learned from the previous maneuver that Theo had made going around the outside and being able to get himself in the first position going into turn 1. Yeah, definitely a mistake there by Theo. You can see a 143.6 versus Ashley's a 141.3. A little bit sideways there for Theo going into the triple. But Theo seems to have found his rhythm again, and that's definitely my favorite part of the track. See those splits just coming down ever so slightly every corner. Theo's just taking just that little bit, and there's his best delta time.
Yeah, all that's needed now is just that consistency to come through and obviously focus on. I think a lot of pressure being put on Ash at the moment, but he seems to be handling it beautifully.
Yep, Ash is definitely, I think, learned from the mistakes that he was making earlier, because now those lap times have gone under the 141s where Ashley was circulating the 142s, and that allowed Theo to close that gap on him. Thank you, Duppy, for the message. Enjoy your bedtime, and I promise you for next week we will make sure that we get everybody in bed before 10 o'clock as our predetermined time. We still have 17 minutes left of this race, so the guys will be tired, and I once again apologize that we did have some technical issues in the beginning. Could not get the live stream to come up on YouTube. It was showing that we were streaming, but nobody could find the actual stream itself. And then we had the actual lobby itself. It did a extremely weird thing. It kind of just kicked everybody out, so we had to restart there. So we do apologize, but we seem that I personally feel that we've got all these bugs out of the way, and we'll put on a slipstream show, a slick show for next week. So we saw Theo has just done another best split time, so he's down to 0.5 of a second against Ashley. So again, he's going to be looking to make a move on him. I don't think it will be on this lap. Across the line, there's Ashley a 141.6 and Theo keeping it in those 140, a 140.9. Well, Ashley's wide. Theo will tighten up, but Ashley will get the better drive out. Theo will tuck up in behind him. I don't think there'll be an opportunity here coming into turn number 3. But Ashley has been making some mistakes. They're going a little bit wide, so if Theo is able to just put some pressure on him going into that corner, we might see a forced error and Ashley run wide and give Theo that opportunity. So Sabby, if you were Theo at the moment, what would you be doing? Would you be wanting to just sit behind him, or would you want to be attacking for that position? Stephen, I know that you're still out there. Maybe you could give me your thinking. What should Theo be doing? Pushing for that position, or should he be just sticking around there and waiting for Ashley to make that mistake?
I suppose it always helps to put the mic back on when I'm talking.
Thank you very
But
much.
anyway.
I thought you didn't want to talk to me, so I've moved on to...
No, I heard, and I was just about to say, you know, the thing, what I think he's trying to do is maybe just do a bit of conservation there, but, you know, I know him as well. I mean, I've seen him on GT Sport as well, very, very competent, and he's going to hold back maybe a little bit, just conserve a bit of tyres, and then he's going for the attack again. I think that's going to come up.
Yeah. We see that Bruno came second in the previous race. He's jumped on the stream and saying pity about the disconnecting, but at least the guys up front are giving it a good go. Bruno, we cannot agree with you anymore. We still are 2 drivers short, and we did have a few drivers just today that did say that they weren't able to join us. But I'm sure that for the next race we will get them all back in. And I'm sure Bruno's strategy would be to just hang back just a little bit, and then right at the end just give it all you've got and force that mistake.
Exactly.
Because I see that the lap times, they're both doing those 141s. Or Memo's having an absolute shocker. He's just put in a 159. So I'm assuming that he's gone off somewhere. So 0.5 of a second slower for Theo that time round. Ooh, lots of curb there on the inside. There's Memo just getting out the way for the leaders, not wanting to get in the way. So I've also been quietly watching the little challenge there between Gavin and Yulan, and that time has now just gone down to 3 seconds. And the guys are doing very similar times, but it was up to 5 seconds, I think. So I do think that Gavin is now possibly closing the gap down on Yulan. I keep saying it's my favorite part of the track. And Savvy, we can just jump to first place within 0.7 of a second there. That is Yulan starting to close down the gap. So Yulan 0.2 of a second quicker than Ashley there, so he has closed down that gap. So Stephen has come through with his advice. He has said, I think he should stick behind him and just put the pressure and force the mistake. I cannot have said it any better. Because that's exactly what I would be doing. There's still some time to go. We still have just on about 5 to 6 laps. I would be right up behind him and not trying to force an overtake, but just make it extremely difficult for him to get away, and hopefully just let him brake a little bit too deep into a corner, and at that time stick the nose in and take the position. I just love the way the feedback when you're going through that little chicane, just the way it hits you from the one side to the next side, and you can really just feel the car moving around underneath you. It really is great, such a great feeling. And I see Memo is trundling there. Trundling? I don't even know if that's a word. He is moving in the pit lane, so I think he's gone in to repair some damage.
If it wasn't a word a couple of minutes ago, it is now a word.
And we'll keep it for Memo only, that he is trundling.
He's trundling.
It's almost as good as my three-way horse.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of comments made on that last week.
There was. Such a great shot here from the bumper. So Gavin lost just on about 0.7 of a second there to Yulan, so unfortunately he's not going to be closing that gap down. But what I'm quite interested to see is that those times is that Rudy's actually taken out 4 seconds. But hold on, another look again is that both Yulan did a 1:45 and Gavin a 1:46. So I'm not sure whether the two touched each other and have come off. But what's happened is that that's allowed Rudy to now get almost into striking distance, because now he's just on 6 seconds behind, but that is going to allow him to close the gap. Because as Gavin and Yulan get closer together, they will be fighting, they will be wasting time, and if Rudy can just keep his head down and put some good laps together, he will be able to get himself into that mix. Whoa! That's Gavin touching that inside curb. That's definitely gonna allow Rudy to close up some more time on Gavin. So that gap was 0.6, it is now 0.4. So Gavin really is going to start feeling that pressure from behind. And Theo taking another 0.2 of a second off the leader Ashley. Ashley is wide once again into turn 3. That's going to cost him more time. Very nicely done. But what what Theo should actually be doing is just tightening up for that right-hander. Well, took a lot of that first curb. And once again the leaders will start closing the gap up on Memo, but I'm sure we'll see him just get out the way. Stephen coming with a very valid comment. Save those tires because he'll need them at the end. So they will cross the line to begin a lap number 21.6. So they were, well, Theo took 0.1 of a second out of that time, but he just doesn't seem to be keeping it together. That's Memo going off, but he'll now get out the way, allow the two leaders to come through. Theo is on the much tighter line. Ashley decides to go the wider and then cut back in. And you can see two different lines, but neither one of the drivers have actually had an advantage from that move, which just shows that that corner you can take it in multiple ways and you are going to be getting the same result. And Rudy's now starting to also close the gap up on Gavin now. He did a 0.1 quicker. That got me very nervous, seeing Theo up on that curb like that. that incident could have put him up against the wall, but he managed to ride off the curb without any incident there. So very happy for him. But
I think the attack is coming now. The attack is coming.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Whoa! It's all about the exit speed here now. But just not close enough this time round. And Ashley, he has now picked up his pace, a 140.8 versus Theo 148.0. And the two different lines for the driver, and you can see that the time, that was a better exit for Ashley. And I'm sure Jolan's also starting to feel the pressure now, because along the main straight he can see both Gavin and Rudy behind him now. Because of those three, Rudy, he's now the one going quicker of the three. Theo really attacking those curbs. So he really is starting to push hard. And just look at those best laps, a 140.6 for Ashley, a 140.67 for Theo, so not much between them. So we'll have 2 more laps to go. It is a here or never, where Theo is going to have to get closer to Ashley. He will have to make a move within the next lap, because they will cross the line with 2 minutes 36 to go. So there will be 2 laps left. Theo has a look on the inside. Ashley has outbraked himself. Theo moves to the inside. They are side by side, but Ashley will have the faster exit, having gone much wider. Will Theo have a dive on the inside here to turn number 3? Ashley just closing the gap, a little nudge on the rear. Theo slows down, realizes that there was the nudge, allows Ashley to go past. A great sportsmanship there by the 2 drivers. The chicane, Dane saying that the front left is now helping, because I'm sure they would have had time to allow their tyre to cool down, but now they are both throwing everything at it. The previous laps, they were split by 0.002 of a second. But that is Theo. He's wide, going into the dirt. He's got to just keep it going in a straight line. So that unfortunately is Theo's race. He will not be able to take that first position unless Ashley really does something drastically wrong. So they will cross the line to begin the final lap, lap number 24. And I'm sure Ashley is just breathing a sigh of relief. There's Memo coming out of the pits once again. He really has not had a great race here. So Ashley will recover some points and he will move himself up. Theo, he too will be scoring some points and he will move up as well. Whoa, big moment there for Theo, the rear coming out onto the brakes. But there is still about yeah, there's 20 seconds between himself and the third place Yulan, so he is just going to want to bring the car home now, not try anything too fancy. So Ashley, our race leader, will have 2 corners to go. And that's him now going through Bauer Curve, now through Zeppelin for the last time. There is no more time remaining. He will cross the line. Can I say well deserved? He really fought with Theo for the majority of this race, and he managed to keep his head above water there. And Yulan will come home in 3rd place. He was really giving Theo a hard time there as well, but managed to keep it tidy and bring it home in 3rd. With a Gavin 58 GTZA, my apologies, in 3rd, with Rudy just behind him in 5th place. And that is that. Let's just quickly jump into the lobby. Gotta do my little trick. We'll just jump into the lobby.
I'm gonna sit behind you, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna take it easy, I'm not gonna go berserk about it. And then I'm gonna take in the last couple of laps.
Thank you guys, thank you guys. You are live on the stream. What a great race. It was extremely awesome to watch. With Yulan, your podium, there was a little move that you were making of Theo in the beginning, and we thought, oh, this is not going to be good. But you guys land up just touching just a little bit, and you got yourself a podium. How did the race go for you?
That was really, it was a tough race. The tires started melting all the way back in the last few laps, so it was really a tough race. But as everybody said, you just keep on going. You just press down the fuel and you just go.
100%. And then Gavin, you were also battling there with Theo, and unfortunately we didn't catch it on the stream, but you went off. Was that just a little mistake?
When Theo was behind me, I actually went wide and I kept this space there for him. I know he's quicker than me and it wouldn't be fair to hold him back. I let him go. I was fighting to hold Awesome there off. Eventually I let him go past as well, gave him space a couple of times, hoping he'd go past. And then I only started getting settled in probably in about 20 minutes, halfway through the race. I started settling. I'd catch him a couple of seconds and then I'd make a stupid mistake and then lose my time again.
And I must say there was a time where there were between yourself, Yulan and Rudy, is that you guys were actually at one point, Gavin, you were actually the fastest on the track, and we were just hoping that you would close that time down. And then Theo, you got stuck behind Ashley. You made an incredible overtake. Again, we missed the part where Ashley had actually overtaken you, and you were fighting hard to catch him. How did the race work out for you, man?
No, well, it's I passed him just after the backstretch, carrying more speed through the last corner, and I knew that is the place where I'm going to overtake him. But nevertheless, I made a mistake. I think the lap after that, I made a mistake on the first corner, braking late. I was running on the gravel, and then he passed me, and then I thought I'm going to sit behind him. I know where to pass him now.
Yeah.
And then I've decided, listen, I'm going to sit behind him, relax, take it easy, and then the last couple of laps I'm going to pass him and take it. Unfortunately, we got together. I don't know if you saw that little bump.
Yeah, we did see that.
Just
was going into turn number 6. The two of you just had a little touch, but we saw you braked. You let him go back on, and then you carried on your fight. It was really great to see.
Yeah, but then after that I was pushing hard with the left front tire after the tire was going off, and I just pushed too hard at the last couple of laps, so yeah, lost a lot of time.
Awesome. And then Ashley, you landed up winning that battle in the end. You have to be you can't be telling me that your heart rate is low. I'm sure that is absolutely pounding.
I'm definitely wet with perspiration. Yesterday was one of the toughest races ever. Theo gave me a good run for my money. And yeah, unfortunately my tyres went off very early in the race, so I had to nurse them. But yeah, with the pressure behind it wasn't easy at all.
Yeah, no. Guys, it was really awesome. We must apologize once again for it being so late, but great racing, great sportsmanship, and this is what SARCO is all about. To the guys out on the stream, thank you very much for joining us. We will be back next week for the Snetterton 200. The format will be changing, is that we will be having the 2 times 20-minute races with 5-minute qualifyings for that. So we'll see you next week, Thursday, same time, 8 o'clock. We should have all our bugs sorted. Thanks for watching, yos.